everyone just thinks that you have to just go to a 9 to 5, you make up enough money for a house deposit, you buy a house, and then you settle down. So I got sold that this dream car, this Lamborghini that I achieved by 27 was a dream, that I couldn't get it.
Most immigrants have that same, like,
I
I want to buy my mom and dad a house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is. No, not saying that, again, it was easy here growing up as a refugee Middle Eastern.
Yeah, talk me through that. What was it like?
Oh, man, I've got a lot of scars from my childhood as a Middle Eastern refugee growing up. I used to, at my age, bro, it was 9/11 days, you know? So it was like, fuck, we used to get called everything under the sun, get into fights left, right, and center, you know? You always felt a bit less, or something always lingers. And to be honest, bro, like, I reckon it still lingers in us, no matter who I become. Like, I always feel like I have something to prove when I walk into a room. Bro, to be honest, like, I always say this, like, I want to kind of hit like a sob story kind of thing, but I think our parents were very, very good. Like now when I look back, I'm like, oh God, we were doing it hard. We just had like certain rules, like we couldn't leave the area around where we were, like just because people get kidnapped, etc. It's not like I don't know, I didn't think about it as a kid and be like, oh God, we got it hard, you know? But when my parents tell us like stories about, you know, how hard we were doing it, and then we were like, oh, okay, shit, and we were actually in a real bad place. But again, like I said, man, like no sob story in the sense that we were blessed. We made it out of there. We came to New Zealand out of all the countries, and this is probably one of the best, safest, coolest fucking countries in Hop. And so
we understand the concept of commerce very easily, like buying something for less, adding some sort of value, and then selling it. So we used to go like garage sales on Saturday, wake up at like 5 a.m, newspaper in hand, map in the other, you know, trying to figure this out as kids. They would go to the garage sales, there'd be like certain things they would look for, like CD stackers, bro, back in the day.
And painting.
You know, like paint, like there were certain things that were like hotcakes, like it was like a Nissan Skyline to us back then, you know? It was like a CD stacker, bro. You catch it for like a couple bucks and you go to the market, you sell it for 10, you know? And we just understood that heaps. So we used to go on a Saturday, go garage sales in the morning, and then on Sunday take it to Browns Bay Sunday market and then just sell it. We started flipping when I was in like year 13, I think last year, right? I had a car that I wanted to like basically get, which was my R32 Skyline or something like that, and he had like $800 that he got for my dad to start flipping. So I was kind of thinking of my dream, which was this R32, and he was just like, oh, just gonna make some money on the side. And I think he bought this like Ford Laser, and I went with him to get it. This Ford Laser was like, we have this memory of, there's such a good
I'll pay whatever for that car.
And it was like $800, and we went together to get it, and then like I went home, and then I was never really gonna do this whole thing with him, you know? And then he randomly, I don't know, he was at work, and he's like, Mike, can you just like sell this car? I was the one that ended up selling it, and that was like my thrill of like, damn, I just sold this car, you know? When I sold the car that I had, he's like, bro, I'll help you get this R32 Skyline, blah, blah, blah. And we went and got this green stickered bomb, bro. Like the worst R32 Skyline you could find on the marketplace at that time. We bought that for $3,000. We didn't have enough money to fix it at the time. So we used to go like landscaping. I would make like $200 every day and then basically pour it into the car. And like Riz was just being a good kind and helping me out to try to get because this essentially at the time, it was just to get this R32 Skyline to keep for myself. And then we managed to fix it up and then sell it. And then I think we still made like, I don't know, like,
still managed to
like
make
$800 or something like that, right? And then when I sold it, I was like, fuck, I got like $8,400. Should I buy another car to keep? So then we just kind of started to keep flipping, and that's how it started. After I finished uni, he quit his job, and then we said we're gonna start it straight away. For RPM, bro, we had this company we had opened up, and we used to work from like a home and go to like the mobile station to just sell it. And it was called CRC, bro. Cheap, reliable car.
The reliable was always there. Fuck, it was like a setup the way. We used to wear like, bro, like, I hate dressing up, bro. And I used to, like the checkered shirts. Like,
checkered shirt and take them to the gas station. Bro, and then like they were keen to buy the car. You know how there's couches and like a table in the gas station? You take them to your office, bro, which was in the gas station.
And like, you'd be like, you want a coffee? And like, the guy knows you. You're like, bro, 2 coffees. And the bro will like bring it to you. Man, they got us to know, they knew us by name. And like, we'll say it now, but fuck, we used to pretend we had a storage. We'd be like, oh bro, we just got the car out of the storage, and like, we'd just meet you at the gas seat. But like, we just didn't have space, but we were fucking faking it. And like, obviously with good intentions, like we weren't robbing people, but it was weird to say like, oh bro, there's a company that's online with good branding and stuff, because social media was pretty big for us. We started off with a bang, you know? And you can't be like, come to my house. you know? So we had to like, oh yeah, it's in the storage. Like, we'll meet you at the gassy. And then we made the mobile our fucking like office, bro. It was actually crack up. Like, and people...
Shout out Mobile Wire.
Yeah, Mobile Wire went hard for a while.
I had like a Europe trip. I went to Europe for like a month, and as soon as we got back, I think we started to look for a place, and that's when we found Railside. But there was this one guy that changed our lives. For the things to align for this guy to actually come were crazy. And if it didn't happen, this probably wouldn't have been. This probably wouldn't be like.
He came in at a time where we were thinking like, fuck, this might be it. Like, we might need to go back home. Because to be honest, it was mainly because our business acumen back then and like what we knew was pretty useless.
Limited.
Like, we were just terrible, bro. Like, our opening hours, bro, there was none. Like, we just roll up whenever we wanted. And then, like, if it was quiet, we'd just go home. I had my 2 dogs, bro, 2 pit bulls that I used to bring to the fucking shop. 2 big-ass pit bulls, bro, just running around. There was just certain things that we just didn't think about. It was because we just didn't know. Like, we just assumed that, like, people would come anyway.
At that point, yeah, we're thinking about closing the shop. We don't really know what we're doing. We're really poor with just business acumen, like in terms of making sure that you're open at certain days, not taking your 2 pit bulls to your job site. And also, we were doing everything on a cash basis. So like, if somebody wanted a car from us, there was no finance involved. You had to come and buy it, basically bank transfer, or potentially, if we had like send it to MTF, which is like a third party, and they give us like a very small like cut.
And this guy came in.
His name was Ryan. He came in to sell his 300 ZX. He had a lot of dealership experience as like business manager and stuff like that. So very, very intellectual dude.
I guess our social media was still good enough for someone like him to think that like we are the guys to go to sell his car, right? Because he wanted us to list it for him. So he like asked heaps of questions. Like, it was kind of, at the time I was a bit like, boy, like, bro, you're asking too much. Like, you know, like, how many finance companies do you have? Like, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, so what do you guys actually, like, what's your guys' way to sell this? Like, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, you know, we're pretty big on social media, and like, these are like our bread and butter kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. So I said, what finance companies do you have? And I'm like, oh, we just send it to MTF. And he's like, what? Is that what you guys actually do? You know, we just didn't understand, bro. And like, people were making it out as if it's like pretty hard and like you shouldn't do it and you should just use like third party people, whatever. You'd ask other car dealers, bro, and they would lie to you. And we know now that you fuckers lie. You know, and we're like, fuck yous, man. You guys shouldn't do that. Like, now, when younger guys ask me and them, we're very open. And I remember days we'd have so many cars that we'd sell on finance, but through MTF, you know, and they'll give us like $100, right? Yeah. As a like a reward. He was like, no, you guys are doing it wrong. I don't know how you guys are surviving just off selling cars. How about we make a deal that I'll teach you this and you sell my car for free? I was like, yeah, done. And he came and gave us like a few lessons in finance and whatever. And then he introduced us to the right people. Finance Now was the only company that gave us a good opportunity as young like men trying to do this thing. Like, they believed in us and they sussed it. That's why they're still with us.
The next 3-4 years of RPM, we were doubling every year. Literally, like doubling something. Like, I think maybe the first year we might have even like tripled, you know? And at the time, we just thought if we had more space, we'd have more cars and we'd have more sales. So that's when we bought Bruce McLaren, which was our first big asset. We actually bought the building. We didn't buy a residential property, we bought a commercial property. And that was like a crazy step. And at the time, damn, like, we were just like, fuck, do we even do this? Do we not? And then I think we bought it, and the next year it went up like 400K, the property. And we were just like, wow, like, what a step, you know? It's actually to date the best property we bought. Every other one has been
we bought some shitters, bro.
Every other one has been trash. So anyway, we got the more space, bro. Then we had both shops running. Packed out Bruce McLaren basically 1 year, I think, after literally, as soon as we bought Bruce McLaren, we bought like so many cars that we packed it out. The growth was so crazy. I think from 2017 to 2021, yeah, it was just wild, you know.
But to be honest, bro, like, me and this dude were working like dogs 24/7. Like, it was 7 days, like 4 years, for like I reckon probably like 5 years, bro. Flat, me and this dude, we used to time to time give each other a Sunday off. So like, he would have a Sunday off.
It was every second Sunday.
I would have a Sunday off. That's how it started, having time off. Every dollar, like he was saying, was going back in the company. So I think we were paying ourselves like $500. Obviously, we had fuel cards and whatever, right? So like, we stayed with mum and dad, which is, again, bro, like, something people need to get out of their head. Stay with mum and dad. If they're not going to kick you out, stay with them as long as you need to build yourself.
I always used to think, what's the worst that could happen? If we put all of our money and all of our time and everything and we go bust, I would just go back, live with my parents and have like really good food every day.
And start again.
Yeah. Like, that's literally the worst that could happen, is I go live with my parents. And that's not that bad of a reality for me.
As soon as we learned that side of things, wow, we just, started hiring people, started learning that. That was another thing for us to learn. Like, we had never hired anyone, bro. So like having someone work for you, even that was a bit scary for us. Like, what do you do? It felt weird being like, "Boy, go do this." Like, like it was a bit of even that's a learning thing. Like,
yeah, it all puts more pressure on you, and the pressure's good, I think. So even when we bought when we leased the first railside property, when we got our first employee, those things make you have to take the job real seriously, because you have someone that you got to pay every single week. You have a lease payment coming up that you have to get to every single week, right? Whereas back when we were at home, if we wanted to not work a day, even during COVID and stuff like that, we had some pretty good quality time with our parents. It was like the opportunity to not really do anything.
Just getting fat, eating, drinking, bro. I was drunk like every day. Playing computer games. Like, it was actually a buzz. Like for me and him, we were kind of like low-key a bit excited about it, because we're like, fuck, this is a good excuse to be like, oh, bro, we can't work, When I think about it, Mike, and I don't know if you probably realized as well, you probably have, but COVID made us switch a few things in our company. We still use those processes. One is that, like, we never used to sell cars blind, bro, because we were always worried that, like, the car's going to get there and the customer's going to complain. But then during COVID, we started doing, like, virtual tours, photos of every little scratch, bro, every little interior, outerior, blah, 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 blah. We were selling them unseen, bro. People were buying it from Christchurch, buying a car unseen, but because we were actually being honest and real genuine about the photo, we show everything. It is what it is. Now we still do it. And like, I think a lot of our cars are actually bought unseen, shipped nationwide. We didn't just sit there and go, fuck, we're fucked. Whereas I think a lot of companies like didn't change with the times. They didn't adjust. And they maybe suffered a lot more.
When we reached that point, I think that's when we decided that we needed even a bigger place. And Railside, I don't know, for the people that are viewing, if you've been to Railside, it is not a dealership front that you want to be a dealership front. The reason why we got into it was the cheapest thing that we could get with that amount of space inside. So we're like, okay, it's time for that to go, and time for us to find something else. And that's when we found Hedamai, and Hedamai's become the base for Auckland. This shop here is the shop that I envisioned as a kid, or when we're starting RPM, and we're thinking about one day we're going to have this shop that's, you're going to walk in and you're going to think that you're in the Fast and Furious movie, and it literally is that. Whenever I walk in and I see all the cars lined up nicely, I'm like, this is surreal. Like, this is crazy. How am I seeing so many of my childhood dream cars in the one place? For people that aren't even used to that, and then they come for the first time to RPM, it'll be so cool, because you just don't see it. It's like a car meet every time, but it's just a dealership that's open. We closed Railside and made it into a workshop, and that's when we started our workshop to just take on some of the load of obviously having so many more cars. And then, we had Bruce McLaren and Hedamai going for a while, and then earlier this year we decided to close Bruce McLaren. I think what was going on was we were just real stagnant for a bit, so Christchurch presented a new challenge. I was basically starting again in a completely different place, but now you have all the experience and you have the capital to,
and it was so fast. Like, he actually did it by himself. Like, I wasn't really that involved with it.
And also, it was just such a smart business decision, because like you were saying, Bruce McLaren, the only value that it was giving us was space. When we figured out how to make the space work in Hedamai, we used the money that we were spending on leasing Bruce McLaren, and put that into Christchurch, and then leased out Bruce McLaren. Financially, it didn't even change that much. Like, the expense-wise, it didn't change that much. It's giving us all of the South Island as new potential customers. 80% of our sales are coming from either Christchurch or surrounding cities, which means that those are sales.
And other benefits too, like purchases, bro. We used to buy a lot from there, and like, you'd spend like over $1,000 on shipping. Now you buy it and just take it there.
We used to go down there quite a lot ourselves as well. Like, our biggest place for buying videos and stuff was always Christchurch, because they have a big market there. There's a massive racing heritage down there that, people are really, the biggest change is that they're proper enthusiasts. Like, they're not people that just like buy the cars and just like what they look like or whatever. They actually really like the brand or the make or whatever, they're Toyota diehard, or Mazda diehard, and lots of Subaru diehard. And like, the motto that we live by is probably the biggest lesson we learned early on, which is just spend all your time on something that you can control. Spending time on things that you can't control is a waste of time, energy, effort. And then also, I guess, doing new things that bring out that passion again. For example, Christchurch was a big thing for me, bro. Like, doing that all over again was like starting again. It brought out another side of me where I'm so much more ambitious about him right now. And it's all stemmed from that. Just starting that on my own, creating something great down there, and seeing it happen, and then actually making it work and being like, damn, like,
so fast too.
We did it.
It's very fast.
I think, just spending all your time on something that you can control is the biggest lesson that I would take out of our business.